I know you never hurt me, but that's okay. Cause once you hear my pipe in, you're gonna walk this way. Now I sound different, nothing quite.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Before I continue,
They know what to do.
graced us with her presence just when I was about to start. Ladies and gentlemen, hashtag Fade to Black is on the air for this Monday. Teach, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Teach, we've been we've been missing you, obviously. We've been saying your praises on this show. We already told everybody that you were gonna be a movie star in Africa, and that you was doing your thing. We even showed videos when you was on your little boat excursion, and you just popped on in. I was sitting there, I was like, yo, who's this? I'm like, oh, Steph, it is Teach. But before we go into the opening statements, when Teach is on, when she's on, you know, we gotta talk about you for a minute, Teach, and then we're gonna go with the subject for today. So first of all, let me go ahead and ask, how are you gonna be on for the majority of the show, or are you just gonna grace our presence just for a little bit?
Just for a little bit, I'll try to endure. I have been running, and I am thoroughly exhausted. I catch my flight tomorrow, so I'm in preparation to go to Kenya. So,
Oh,
um, with everything that's been happening in the news, I just know that you're going to touch upon something. So I said, let me just turn on the audio because I would scare you all if I turned on the video.
don't worry, Teach. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, so yeah, we was gonna actually finish up with talking about the abortion conversation on the show. And then also we lived up to your wishes of having femininity on the show. We actually had a female on the show, and excuse me, and we are
Great.
also, yeah. So definitely with the abortions talks and getting a female perspective in a room full of dudes, if you catch my drift. But she gave in great clarity. We also had a great conversation and learning some stuff from one another, and I want to tie a bow on that conversation because there's still some things that need to be talked about, things that need to be hashed out. Well, unfortunately, with the news that happened a couple of days ago in Buffalo, I really want to talk about that and really get people to understand, because I really want to talk to the people that always say, well, they try to divide us, the government's trying to divide us, but then when things like this happens to prove that there's racism in this country, they're quiet, or they make excuses of like, oh, it was mental health, or the media try to flip it, say, oh, he was a lone gunman, he was 18 years old. And understand, if this was somebody that looked like me, they would have been shot. They would have been aggressively taken custody and taken off to jail. And who knows what would have happened on the way to the police station. So I'm gonna let you touch on that, Teach. What do you first of all, what point you want to hit on first? You want to talk about the abortion or what happened in Buffalo?
I want to talk about Buffalo.
All right.
Because they're gonna talk about abortion every time. There's it comes up for renewal. So,
Right,
those
right.
are age old. I remember when I was like 2 or 3 years old, they were talking about it. So I mean, that's just they just go back and forth, toss the ping pong back and forth, same arguments on both sides. So it's as far as abortion is concerned, I think for a woman to be raped and forced to carry that child, that's to me beyond cruelty. Many women have done it. doesn't make it right, doesn't make it acceptable, doesn't make it a standard by which raped women should carry a child a full term when she was forced against her will. So uh, that's my issue, only issue, um, concerning these arguments, because I know individuals that have gotten abortions and now they're pro life, but you killed all your kids.
Right.
you know so
Right.
just hypocrisy just comes out of it. I myself, I'm not of childbearing age, and so it just doesn't affect me.
Right. I got you, Peach.
It doesn't affect me. So that's all I really have to say on that. um Concerning this situation with this mass shooting, um this nation was built on violence. And I was thinking about how it is said of the African American community that when you're traumatized, it actually changes your DNA. And
Mm,
so I look back at the traumatization of the race of the individual that went on this shooting spree. Well, let's be very specific. This homegrown terrorist who decided to kill its own people. And when I speak of own people, we're all Americans. It was all Americans that were killed, but specific Americans, African Americans. And when I look at that traumatization, and we spoke about this years ago on the
mhm,
show, when we talk about why Europe had to leave and find one, food because they were starving, two, they were warmongers, they were always killing up each other, so they were afraid of the population dwindling. Three, sickness and disease was taking their populations. And four, they suffered from a low fertility rate. So, with all four of these items combined, it makes them look at their mortality as a race. If we don't find a way to survive, one, we're going to starve to death and die as the beginning of America. So that trauma is in their DNA to be overly concerned about survival, always concerned about other races taking over or being equal to or greater than them. So, as African Americans have DNA that was traumatized, that was revised, um, so has white America, seeing trauma, and that trauma is DNA coded, and it causes individuals, and I won't even call his name, we know who he is, but I
yep.
refuse to call his name. He is the personification of that trauma, which leads to the secret desires or the original desires of the Ku Klux Klan when they incorporated and began their campaigns. And if you remember the campaigns of the Ku Klux Klan, the number one initiative was to take back the South by any means necessary, up to and including killing all African Americans and destroying all their property. So this one individual, which they want to say that he's a lone individual, he's not associated with the group. He is associated with the group. And this is what we must do. We must absolutely say that he is a homegrown terrorist. His mother and father gave him his genes, and it came from his grandmother and grandfather on both sides of the family. His uncles and aunts fed into him his mentality. So everyone wants to say, oh, he's singular. No, he came from a DNA pool that was traumatized, and they stand in fear of their mortality because they know without the help of other races, we have the evidence that this race could not survive. We have the full evidence. And just historically speaking, in the case of the Africans that were migrated to Canada, to Nova Scotia, and to know the history of how the whites hated their presence and needed their presence at the same time, to the effect that when the Africans felt that it was too harsh a living conditions that they wanted to leave Nova Scotia, it was the residents of Nova Scotia that said, oh no, we're going to make sure you stay here because without you, we will die. We need you, but we're going to treat you the worst. We're not going to allow you to have weapons. We're not even going to give you tools to farm the earth. We're not going to give you any store credit. We're not going to do anything but treat you bad. But we're not going to let you go. And these were free people. But the government did everything they could to make sure that the Black people of Nova Scotia did not leave. And I'm quite sure if you dig into history, city after city, country after country, you will find similar stories.
Oh yeah.
You will find similar stories. So this this thing is the personification of a totally mutated gene.
Hey, as Beast would say, let them use you. Let them use you.
Okay, he totally mutated, but he is the personification of present day America mindset.
Yeah.
He is the personification. He is the manifestation of those that don't dare speak their mouths publicly. They feed into him. They fed into him and made him be what he has become. Now in the public, they want to say, oh, he was a confused teen. Oh, he's bipolar. Oh, he's a teenager. No, he's a grown man. When you reach the teen of 1 and 8, that is teen adult.
Right.
That is teen adult. And what we witness him fully protecting himself, pretending to try to take his life, walking away from the scene, again, is another full personification and manifestation of white privilege. He had the privilege to kill maim, and destroy African Americans and maintain his life without a scratch.
Yep.
Okay? We know that had it been any other race, we would be at the funeral parlor preparing for his burial. But instead, if you watch social media, you will find they're raising money for his defense fund. White privilege, his parents says, we don't want our names mentioned. They want to be protected. No, tell us this white person's name so we'll know that you are the culprit because you were responsible for raising him. We will know that you failed yourself, you failed society by producing such a being. That boy sat at dinner and ate with his mother and his father. What was their conversation? Whatever it was, it fed into that child, that man's mentality from a child. If we could take the law into our own hands, let's get them all. Mama and daddy. Because you cannot separate that boy, that man, from his mother's DNA or his father's DNA. You can't do it.
No, you can't. It goes back to, you know, how they tell us that it starts from the household. You cannot say, oh, well, that doesn't count and this count. Nope, it does. Everything happens at that dinner table. I actually did a video on the Alamonte show. I did an Instagram live on my take on it, even though my take was on more of us. Like, we need to stop allowing this mess to happen and understand that there's no being above your head that's going to stop it. And what I'm fearing is, I have not heard more deeper into the news. Hopefully the families that lost a loved one that's affected by all this does not say, I forgive him. And that's the problem. That's the issue and the problem with us. This is the reason why this continues to happen. And this is the thing where we have to put the mirror on ourselves too. Because if we keep forgiving, teach, this is me uttering all the things that you said on this show and also our private conversations that we had. That we're the only race that forgives and we still get shitted on because we think God, Jesus, is going to be the one to protect us. And we are still in the same situation that we were last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. But then we want
and the decade before that,
and
the century before that.
But then we want reparations. The country owes us, and this and that. I'm a taxpayer, but then when this stuff happens, all of a sudden we turn a blind eye. This is why I always not trying to get too much off the tracks, but this have a connection too. Like when you say strong black men, we see these brothers doing social media, doing these TikToks and videos of them going to Wall Street in these nice suits. Well, we're graduates, we got businesses, and then having videos. I'm gonna protect black women, but we still see police brutality going on. They sitting there recording videos on it. None of them jumping in. Only time they would jump in, they could be like, "Hey, officer," or they telling their friend, "Hey, don't resist, don't resist." But you would get mad at me for sitting there and telling you that mess. You're not a strong black man if you allow that mess to happen. If that was your homeboy getting beat up in the club, you go sit there and just sit there and watch. Oh, well, they're a police officer. Well, if you know they're doing something wrong, they're punching them, knowing that they should not be punching them, you gonna sit there and allow that mess to happen? And which lead to things like this. We allow this mess to happen. We allow tragedies to continue to happen like this. And I actually saw the video, teacher. I had a friend of mine. He actually had family in Buffalo. Thank goodness they're all right. But he said, but the craziest thing is, it was close to where he lives, and I'm. It's not that the kid thought it was bold to do that. It's just a simple fact that also we live in I want to mind my own business type of world, not being aware of your surroundings, not watching out for each other, not watching each other's six, as we say in the military. And then you have this happen. People say, well, our communities need to be more protected. Okay, if you want your communities to be more protected, we have to get out that mind frame of I need to just mind my business.
Exactly.
For me to have somebody to have my back, I have to be involved in my community. I have to be more involved in my surroundings and understanding people, understanding their psyche, understanding their oral, understand where they stand on, understanding that, hey, they may want the same things that I do. I can't read people's mind as well as people can't read my minds. But we got too many people who sit there and say, well, I pull myself up by the bootstraps. But then when the world happens to them, now all of a sudden it's F the world. And we have been the biggest proponent of that. If Minding Your Business had a picture in the freaking dictionary, our picture would be right there. Black people, entirely.
And see, this speaks to the trauma that we endured from slavery.
Mm-hmm.
We have lost our sense of community, of looking out for one another. There's a saying, Ubuntu, I am because you are. But that we don't really apply that. We don't understand the fundamentals of really being a cohesive society. We have been broken down.
Mm-hmm.
They have destroyed us, which is definitely a strong case for reparations. Not to go too far off topic, but the Jewish people are, I've seen postings where they are, what is it? They're not soliciting, but they're making a case for second generation reparations of people who suffered the Holocaust, the grandchildren of those who suffered the Holocaust. And I'm thinking, huh? Oh, yeah. So they're sending these petitions around and they're making their case and they're saying, I'm a grandchild of, my grandmother. She suffered, and because she suffered the trauma, she passed on her trauma to me. And I think I should get reparations. Okay. It's all over Facebook. I don't know other formats it might be on, but I seen it on Facebook several times, and I even took the moment and just read through the comments. And everybody, I'll say 90% of the comments were pro. Yes, we should. Yeah, if grandma was messed up, she raised a messed up child, even though they didn't live in the same house, and even though they didn't live on the same continent.
Right.
But she's a seed of that grandmother that, went through the Holocaust. So therefore, her grandchild that she probably don't even know should receive reparations as well.
Right. So, Teach,
I said,
not to cut you off, Teach, but introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Billingsley. Welcome to the show, Billingsley. We are here with the Teach.
Oh, the gracious Teach. Wait a minute, give me 1 second. It's okay. Wait a minute. Hold on.
I got you.
Something happened. I gotta give me 1 second, okay?
I got you. So, Teach, this is Mr. Billingsley. Let him go ahead and handle that. He recently joined our cast. But didn't want to cut you off. But when he gets back and give me the thumbs up, I'm gonna have him give his piece on it. But go ahead, continue. I ain't meant to cut you off.
okay. So I was talking about those reparations. So our society, we have to not make the mistake of thinking that we are one. We cannot make the mistake to think that we are included. We are not included in their thinking. Everything that they plan for themselves. And it's a misnomer for people like Clarence Thomas and Kamala Harris and those that have high ranking positions to actually think that they're included. They are at the table. I take that not away from them, but being at the table and still being powerless
Right.
because you want to prove that you can think like them. See, diversity is just that, different from one another. So in these high ranking places, we have to bring our own to the table. We don't have to deny ourselves, deny our being, and pretend or acculturate or assimilate to their way of thinking. Because at that point, we are no longer diverse. We have just transformed and lost ourselves in the process.
Right.
And it takes strength. It takes an indomitable amount of strength to be who you are, who you were created to be in this society.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I want to go back to the notion of forgiveness. You know how I stand on it.
Mm-hmm.
No one can forgive that person except for the person that's deceased or the person that received the harm. For me to say that I forgive him is foolishness because I'm not dead, neither have I been harmed. But my family is dead. My family is harmed. And who is to say that they are not angry that they are no longer alive or angry that they have been harmed? I've been spending some of my free time watching Asian movies. And one of the things that I found out in the Asian movies and spiritual practices is that there is no such thing as forgiveness. That's utter foolishness in their culture. If you wrong them by killing their mother, father, sister, or brother, the person that is living, their responsibility is to get revenge.
Yeah.
Because they feel that whoever was wrong is not resting in their grave. And they cannot rest until you balance out that negative energy. Okay? And balancing out that negative energy goes to revenge, not forgiveness. Forgiveness tilts that energy in the favor of the person that was the aggressor.
Yeah.
And that's why they feel they can do it again, because you give them energy.
Mm-hmm.
You give them energy and they say, okay, well, another pop up over here. We had somebody in the South Carolina. Now we're going to go to New York. Now we're going to go to California.
Mm-hmm.
And they're their ancestors, just think about it. Our ancestors are always agitating for our freedom and us to have unity. What are their ancestors telling them? Just think. Just think what their ancestors are telling them. If their ancestors were filled with hatred, were slave owners, were filled with all types of prejudices, their ancestors are whispering the same thing. We were hungry in our land. Don't let them take our jobs. If their population grows, they're going to take everything from us and we're not going to be able to survive. So hear the whispers of their ancestors,
Yep.
okay? Their
Yeah.
ancestors are telling them, their ancestors are promoting them because they know that they have an expiration date. When that race began to raise in power and began to dominate the world, it was an agreement and it has an expiration date. That's why they're always worried about the numbers and other races rising up and taking control because they know that their time is coming to an end.
Right. And teach. It's funny. Me and you are, our spirits are having the same type of energy right here because even when I was on the Alabante show, I did my Instagram live. I said I'm gonna take it deeper on what you said on that show. I literally said the Jews because you brought up the Jews. I even said, look at what the Jews did after World War II. They just didn't, say thank you to the Allied forces for helping them out. They literally went, got crews. Like I encourage everybody to watch The Hunters with Al Pacino. Is even though it's not a true story, but it's based upon of true events that happened and still happen to this day, where you had these group of Jews that are finding generals, soldiers that served in the Nazi regime and going out there and killing them. And nobody bats an eye. Because guess what everybody's saying? Hell yeah. You killed my family, guess what? We're going to come after you. We're going to come after you. We're going to take your life because you didn't have that remorse for either my wife, for my father, my husband, whatever. And it's still happening to this day. Now I don't know if they go after like the whole entire family, but I do know that they go after people that had ties that wore the uniform with the Nazi unit. And see, we don't think that way, Teach. And it's sad. I'm gonna bring Billingsley back here. I'm gonna give him a thumbs up if he's good. Okay, yeah, and that's the issue with our people. We love these mafia movies. We love movies where even the mafia gets revenge when another family. If anybody ever watched The Godfather, I know either everybody watched The Godfather, and I know Tish, you probably seen The Godfather,
Yes.
and you see every time when somebody gets attacked, they put another hit out on the other families, or
That's
even.
right.
And here's another thing too. I'm gonna bring Billsley into this too and get him up to speed. Even and it's sad in our movies. Look at all the action movies that we have, or gangster movies as they want to call it. Let's just use Boys in the Hood. You had Ice Cube's crew, and you had that other crew that killed God dang it. What's his guy? I've got his name. But I knew Morris Chestnut was the character.
Right.
He was the guy that played
That's
the
the
character.
actor. Yeah.
Yeah. So we encourage movies like that and be like, I hope Ice Cube get him back, which he eventually did. Caught these guys slipping. I don't know what drove anybody to like, hey, let's go get a bite to eat. Not only just get a bite to eat, but the middle of like in the open. Let's sit at a bench, middle of the night. Caught them slipping and got shot. And I promise you, When everybody was watching that movie, they was rejoicing about that part. Like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Get revenge. But you never see us have movies where we get revenge back when it's somebody of a different race.
Exactly, because they want to perpetuate this quote unquote theory of black on black crime. You know,
Right.
oh, how dare they turn not turn the other cheek? Don't they have those old Christian values? You know, Christian values say turn the other cheek. Only for black folks.
Right.
The same whites of people that's perpetuating Christianity, they don't believe that. Not for 1 second. It's only for you.
Right.
It's not for them.
Right. And I'm gonna
And they
bring Billy. Go. I'm sorry, Chief. Go ahead.
just one other thing. You know, it's a psychological thing for them when they say black on black crime. It's almost like hypnosis. It's like, okay, back down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back in line. I mean, it's almost like, you know, how they use the teacup in Get Out when they say black
Yeah.
on black
Oh,
crime.
gee, gee, gee.
When they say
Yo,
black on black crime,
It's like,
it's a spell. It
it's like,
is a spell.
uh, yeah. The thing is, I was about to get some coffee too.
don't do it.
Now I'm not.
Don't
Now
do
I
it.
ain't gonna get none now. But yeah, Billy, I'm gonna bring you to this conversation. So me and T, she gave her view on abortion. But I think this is more of a hotter topic. I'm about to change the topic in a little bit.
Oh, I knew that was happening after what happened this past weekend. I knew that was going to change.
Yes. So Bill, see, what is your take on what happened in Buffalo?
First of all, I got to say this real quick before I get all sentimental about it. I see you have Teach on here. I am honored that I'm even on the same page of Teach today because, you know, she got African Princess on here. I was thinking, African Queen. I was like, oh, man. Yeah,
But
I was
thank
like,
you for
okay.
the serenade.
No, I had to. When I seen that, I was like, oh, opportunity. But anyway, first of all, it was so weird that I jumped into the conversation when you guys were talking about we do not understand how is it that the Christian values of Black people only resides in us when things like this happen in Buffalo. And to want to have revenge and everything is supposedly obsolete. But I can tell you where it came from. And I'm pretty sure Teach will correct me if I'm wrong on this. Way back in the day of slavery, they put out a thing called Christianity onto the slaves. Now, mind you, the Christianity that we all know that is from the Hebrews, the real Hebrews, or the Jewish people, it's way different than what the slaves received. If you go in DC right now, my hometown, there is a Bible museum, and it has a museum of all types of Bibles. In that very museum, you will see a slave Bible. Now, if you take the slave Bible with the regular Bible, it looks the same amount of pages, everything. The difference that anything that talked about freedom, getting away from their master, or any type of liberation was taken out of it. There are verses in the Bible that talk about don't beat your slave as much or whatever else. I forget the particular books of it, but it talks about slavery, which in turn, these are the very sermons that they used on the slaves to tell them that slavery was okay. And in your lot in your life, this is how you're supposed to live. So think about it this way. You've had tons and tons of, not even tons and tons, but you had several Black preachers during that time of slavery. And these Black preachers perpetuated that same message onto the slaves. These preachers made a tradition to have different churches, Black churches, that was funded by the government, which adhered through the same message over and over again, such as turn the other cheek, forgive your enemies. God has a place for you at the end of the sweet by and by, as they call it, right? But as of right now, even though you're going through hell right now, your reward is in heaven. And so throughout the years, you have had civil rights activists, anyone who played a sport that was a Christian, any celebrity that was a Christian will go ahead and pump this very message onto people, or onto Black people on a regular basis. Even to the extent of the civil rights movement, right? That's how the nonviolent movement came about, even though it was said that Martin Luther King took from Mahatma Gandhi, and that's a whole nother dude on a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it was through the Bible that Dr. King usually preached from, and was talking about. I remember in one particular sermon, he was like saying, "I hate violence. I refuse to be taken so low to be violent to the enemy," basically. Or he didn't say enemy, but to someone who's angry like that. And this is me paraphrasing. So this thing of turning the other cheek has been a long time going. Just like even in recent times, besides this happening, the guy who got shot in his apartment eating ice cream by the white female cop.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she was taken to trial, you had a Black judge, you had a Black security person who was petting her hair and everything and making sure that she was all right. And then you had the younger brother of the victim, who out of nowhere says, basically, I forgive her for this whole situation. He's like, matter of fact, could I give up and give you a hug in this? Do you not believe that had some type of viewing or overturning in the juror's mind? But O.J. Simpson gets away with murder, and white people lost their mind. Yep. You see what I'm saying? And so with this thing that happened in Buffalo, and this is how sad this whole situation is, what clicked in my mind? Another white dude pretty much got away with murder. Just like that kid who was in Carolina who shot up the Black church, that they welcomed him in. Shot up the whole church. And what did those cops do? Just like this guy. Got him out peacefully. Matter of fact, they took it a step further with this kid. They took him to Burger King, got him a sandwich, have him to calm down a little bit, and then took him to the station.
Oh, not to interfere. Also said, don't. And one of the cops sit there said, well, what you did was right. Is one less N words to worry about.
Really? Didn't know that. But you know what's so sad about just hearing that just then and there? I'm so calloused by that. I'm not even fazed by it. It's almost like it's business as usual at this point in time. But that's not good, because that shows the justice system is flawed. And it's not something that's something new. I said something new just by saying that. But if I can hear something like that, if I could see what happened in Buffalo and be like, wow, that sucks. But wow, that's a problem.
Yes.
That's a problem. That's what they've conditioned us to. That's why I love the internet and I hate it at the same time, because WorldStar has made Black people buffoonery to such an extent that not only people in America are seeing the few people who deal within this madness, the world is seeing it. And so if you go to some different type of country, they believe this is you until you prove them otherwise. But this is you. I don't know what the solution is from what happened in Buffalo. Naturally, we want revenge. Naturally, you would think that there would be something happening within that city. Because I know in Minnesota, when they were talking about canceling the police and everything like that, they destroyed the police station. But that's not the usual here. The other thing is the school system. They taught us all about slavery the whole time, but they never told us about the rebellion. They never told us anything about that. When did I learn about these rebellions? How old am I? 46, right? I learned about this a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago. How horrible is that? But I am so enthralled in knowing that the first slave ships came to Virginia in I forget the particular year, but in the 1700s, right? Or 1600s. I'm sorry. 1600s. I'm sorry. My bad. See,
this is why it's great that you guys got teach a scholar.
See, I told you she's gonna correct. Yeah. So yeah, in the 1600s, when the first slave ships landed in Virginia, and so we're more in tune with the sorrow of everything. We're more in tune of the downfall of the struggle within this country, but we're not in the know like Teach is, who's in a whole nother country learning all kinds of stuff that we should have learned from birth. You see what I'm saying?
Billsley, look, I don't know if you would teach tag team before this show. I don't know, but these are the same exact points. And you saw my live the other day. I said the same exact things that Teach was talking about and what you're saying right now. Why in the world am I learning about these other chocolate cities? You know, I do call Black Wall Street, but I call them chocolate cities. Finding out that it wasn't just Tulsa, Oklahoma. You had ones in freaking Oklahoma. You had those in freaking Georgia, i.e. that what's that freaking lake that is haunted down there near Forsyth, Georgia.
Don't give me the line. No, don't give me the line.
I forgot what that lake is. That was a man-made lake that the water covered over a thriving Black town.
Wow.
Then also knowing that the interstates or freeways that they call it over here, Bill, you know, they call it the freeway over here. That every interstate was built over Black thriving towns, which I'm like, how I'm figuring this out now. Because right now there's a family, I think it's somewhere in California, that are fighting for the rights of their families that bought the town and saying that, look, this is our land. We deserve the right of it because they still got the will. So, but all in all, I'm finding this out now. I am freaking 34, going to be 35 this year. And I'm hearing this history now. And people want to talk about this, you know, critical race theory is racist, is putting fear in my white little kids' hearts. What? Look here, like, I don't have no kids yet, but I want them to learn history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But unfortunately, Teach, I believe she can agree because she is a scholar, that we learn more about their history. And when it comes to our history, it's just a curriculum in college.
Oh yeah.
And that we only hear about black, scholars, black historians, black icons, black pioneers when it's Black History Month, when it's African American history. But we got to sit in our schools for freaking about 12 months, sitting back hearing about the Confederacy. And Billsy, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Do you know where Black History Month even came from?
Yeah, from I forgot that brother's name. I'm gonna let Teach go ahead and handle that. Teach, are you still there?
No shit.
Carter G. Woodson.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And his philosophy was that we have to teach the achievements of Africans on this soil. We have to teach the achievements because knowledge and information was kept from us.
Mm-hmm.
And so he decided that we needed to highlight the achievements of African Americans to motivate us. It came at a time right after during the Harlem Renaissance, where we had a chance to regroup ourselves and come to ourselves and find out who we had been. Because when they had the plantation system, you didn't get information.
Nope.
So what went on one plantation, you don't have any idea what went on the next plantation. And that's how they were able to keep the slaves in Texas and Louisiana 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Those slaves didn't even know that they were free. Wasn't nobody gonna tell them, and they kept that ship tight.
Yes,
that all other states around, they did not let those slaves on those plantations know.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to take you back and thank you, Mr. Billingsley, for the sweet and kind words that you spoke to me. But I want to take you a little further back and a little deeper to understand the connection between the Bible and slavery.
Oh, this should be good. Yeah,
you can see
came on the right day, yo. I took you up. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna throw out two dates.
Okay.
1452 and 1492.
Okay. All right.
50 years.
I got a pen and pad too.
I know. Same here.
Okay.
1452.
So
1492. Okay, cool.
So what do these dates have in common?
Well, you said it's a 50-year difference. The only thing that I know about 1492 is the lie they talk about Columbus. For 1452, and this is me guessing, when I want to say that's when Black people even came to America, the beyond slave ships or anything like that, or I could be wrong in that.
Nope. Okay.
Okay.
So 1492, it's recorded that Columbus discovered America.
Right.
50 years prior.
Allegedly.
Right. 50 years prior, King James ordered the New Testament to be compiled.
Mm.
Now, why is that significant? It's significant because in 1492, Columbus got his commission to search out and find new lands. Because remember earlier I was talking about how they were starving for the lack of the production of food in Europe. So part of these voyages was not just like, oh, I want to sail the seven seas. They're like, oh, we need to find some land that can produce some food because we're about to die. Okay,
Right.
we're about to die. We're going to die. People are dying. Okay, so you have the Dame de Versus. The Dame de Versus was a papal bull that was issued by the Catholic Church. They said that the Portuguese merchants can go into Africa and enslave them perpetually.
Wow.
Okay, that was given by the Pope. All right, so Britain had not gotten into the slave trade. The slave trade had been going on 250 years before the Great Britons got into the slave trade. So, as following the suit of the Pope, King James ordered his version of the Bible to enter the slave trade. Okay, now I'm going to say this plain. If you take offense, that's something you have to take up. But I'm going to say this. The Bible is a book of spells.
Yeah.
And whoever reads it is spellbound. Whoever abides by it is spellbound. Okay? And it works on your psyche to turn you against yourself.
Wow.
Because if you practice it, when it say turn the other cheek, that makes you perpetual victim. Go back to the Dame de Versus. They said you will enslave the African perpetually. Why was it perpetually? Because in order for them to live, in order for them to have life, as a leech latches on unto the host, when that leech is separated from the host, that leech dies. So that race is the leech, and we are the host. That is why they would not let us go from slavery. That's why when we were free and we tried to find our freedom in Nova Scotia, they would not let us go from the land when the land was too unbearable for us to live, because they need us to live. So they create a spell binding book. Now I'm gonna take you to cast a spell over the whole entire world. Now I'm gonna take you into the Bible because it speaks truth, and if you study it, they pulled from ancient African wisdom and repackaged it to the world.
I keep hearing that. I have heard that I don't know how many times.
Okay?
Wow.
Yes. Now, look at this. it say, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God.
Mhm.
And anything God spoke, it came into being,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
In early African civilizations, they spoke. They did not tell lies. So if a man said, I'm going to the forest to hunt for food, that's what he did. That's what everybody believed, because there were no lies. But then there came this need to write. And the early Africans said, wow, writing is witchcraft.
Wow.
Okay? Because writing, you can tell a lie, and that lie can hypnotize those into believing that it's true. So when you deconstruct how we as an early people perceive such things, our ancestors would know that's a book of spells. But
Wow.
generations later, we've been brought up under it because it was written as a lie, but we believe it as the truth. And we will fight each other over it.
Mhm.
We will worship white, and we will agree with the white when they kill the black that it's okay by telling them we forgive them. When we say we forgive, that means I take away your charge. I no longer hold you responsible for the damnable act that you have committed. That's what's happening when you say forgive. And that's why that Bible was written, to say, oh, forgive your enemies. That means to let them have rest. Don't let them feel guilty for what they have done. Okay? That is against yourself, because my grandmother taught me, and in my life I proved it. Not that I was seeking to prove it, but it proved itself. She said, don't ever put your hands on anybody. But if anybody put their hands on you, you beat them to a pulp.
Yep.
And she said that same person will come and become your best friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
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 In elementary school, people just like to test that theory out on me, and I would beat them up. And they never bothered me again. But they're teaching these kids to be victims, to be bullied. If you never stand up for yourself, who gonna stand for you? That bully gonna keep coming. He's gonna keep coming. He's gonna keep coming because he know he can. Because in the words of Oprah, you teach people how to treat you.
Yep.
So we as a race, we keep forgiving them. We keep saying, oh, it's okay that you killed my son. It's okay that you killed my husband. It's okay that you killed me. It's okay because I ain't nobody. Because this world said that I'm nobody. And they brought me a book of spells that separate me from my creator, that gave me power. But I don't know how powerful I am, because if I assumed my originality, I could just speak like God in the beginning, and it would be so.
Wow.
But instead, I resort to writing.
Yeah.
But I don't have the power that's behind that book of spells.
Mm-hmm. Because it's hidden. Because they
Yeah.
hid it.
Yeah. Teach.
It's hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
If your eyes are open, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
If your eyes are not open, you can't see it, even if it's in front of your face.
Or you just
If your
sleepwalking.
yeah. So this thing is deeper than just being perpetuated from generation to generation, from slave teachings to Reconstruction teachings to the Harlem Renaissance and on and on to modern day. If you take a 6-year-old child and teach them whatever it is you want to teach them, that's what they're going to know.
Yep.
And when they become an adult, they're going to teach their generation.
Yeah.
We have to be careful of what we're taking in as so-called knowledge.
This is true, Teach. This is true. I remember because I listen to a lot of motivational speakers, and one of them, I can't remember one of their names, but I remember a quote that stuck with me, which exactly expressed what you just said there. You have to be the gatekeeper to your mind. You have to, and that's a lesson that I'm trying to learn much more. And then another point that hit me, I mean, it shook my soul when you said that you're basically teaching people how to treat you. You treat yourself how you let people treat you, and I believe that wholeheartedly. And like right now, I'm kind of going through a situation like that, and that just hit me. Because if I'm just like, okay, you can go ahead and yell. I'm not saying to yell at me, but I'm saying, but if you sit there saying, well, if you yell at yourself, guess what? You just open that door for somebody else to yell at you. You be like, yeah, I get it. I got it and all that stuff. And then you go back home, you like, Morris, you're the worst thing ever. And so what you're saying, Teach, is not only just for me personally, but also for what you were saying, us as well, because we always believe that that man or whoever they pray for in the sky going to have your back, and not understanding, which also I said in that live, that we got God within us.
That's right.
That God is within us, and every day I won't say I try, I do, have conversations. And I think right now, this is my first time ever mentioning it on the show to anybody. I'm still kind of scared, but still, I'm like, I want to give you full control. But then that's that one part of you is like, no, I don't want to. It's like going on or getting that first shot or eating freaking spinach for the first time. You like, it's good for you, but you're like, no, I don't.
And you know why? You know why you're like that? Because it's the same thing I'm going through, and that's why I can speak so freely about this. We've been trained to know a certain thing the way we know it, right. Through the system. Through the system, whether it's through the system, our parents who wasn't woke, as they say, or through our society that we lived in, or the neighborhood that we lived in. And because of that, that's why you have yourself fighting against each other. That's why it really resonated to me a lot what you said, Teach, when you said the thing of it's a book of spells to help you fight against yourself. But at the same time, it was another thing that you had mentioned, how you were talking about the slave plantations didn't know what was going on the next one. Mm-hmm. And it resonated with me a lot. Both of those things resonated with me a lot because that's how neighborhoods are. Black neighborhoods are. In one way, something's going on 10 blocks away, but it's totally different 10 blocks down. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yes.
And then without the information, if the information is not traveling the correct way, nobody's going to know. That's why, I mean, it might be bogus now compared to what it used to be, but this is why I miss magazines like Ebony or
Mhm.
even BET before the booty shaking videos came on. What it was is that they talked about different issues that mainstream media wasn't saying. So you found out about your future scientist who was like 12 and then figured out, you know, all these different things, or these outstanding students and all of this other stuff. And the reason why I feel that was important, because none of these people, none of these kids was throwing a basketball or throwing a football or anything.
No.
And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be celebrated either, but at the same time, I really believe people who don't do the jock stuff all the time should be celebrated also, because they're helping our society to go further, whether it's in science, in art, in writing, whatever. We celebrate, and which is why it was important for Black History Month. But then that sickens me now, because the way I look at it is like this: history is more than 1 month, especially
Yes.
for Black people. And the way I look at it is like this: I had to go to school and learn how George Washington changed his drawers on a regular basis, and how Thomas Jefferson, you know, did this for the Declaration of Independence. But at the same time, he was like, you know, fathering like all kinds of half slave children or whatever else, knowing so much that one of my friends from high school is related to that dude because of his seed spreading ways. So I mean, it's just really, it's really, I don't know. I'm just thankful.
Oh no, you're right, Bill.
Yeah, I'm just really thankful for especially this episode, because some of the stuff that has been mentioned today, it really shook my heart, especially the thing when you were mentioning the thing about the Bible and the African stories that was repackaged and put into this. But a lot of people stop at that. They don't tell you where to find it, and they really try to hide that a lot. It's just like Teach said, it's hidden in plain sight. And I'm like, wow, that's, I don't know, man. That whole thing is crazy. That whole thing is horrible, man.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I meant to cut you off, Bill. Sorry.
No, I had a question. For Teach then. I had a really big question for Teach, since she said this, right? What is your thought on Jesus in general?
Woo!
Oh, I know.
What is my thought on who?
On Jesus, Yahweh.
Allah.
There you go. I'm striking chords like Jimi Hendrix right now. I know I am. So I was just saying, what was her thought pattern of this guy?
Okay. Well, one, he depending on which brand of religion, they'll say he's God. And he's in the mediator between man and God. So when you look at him, even though the Bible clearly says that there should be made no image or likeness of him, but you see him, and people see him and see him as God. So when they see people that look like him, they think they're God too. And that is why they cannot revenge. Because I'm going to take you and turn it upside down. Scientists tell us that Africans are the original humans. If we are to believe that God made man and woman, then would not God be our father?
Yes.
So if we are the original humans and God is our father, and we give reverence to our mother and our father, who are our ancestors, but they tell us that we're demon worshiping.
Mm.
But yet the Catholic Church calls the Pope or the priest father.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's acceptable. So the same practice to the original is demonized, and you're taught through that pattern and system of brainwashing that going to church every Sunday, every time you read it, that's brainwashing, whether self-induced or family induced or plantation induced. But what I want to suggest to you is this. Let me put a hypothetical situation. And it's going to come from the Bible. They say that there was a war in heaven where you had God and you had the devil. And the devil wanted to rise up and be like God. So God and his angels defeated the devil and his angels. Right? Most people don't look past the story anymore. But I'm going to take you deeper into the story. So we established that Africans were the first humans, so therefore God is made in the likeness of the black man, which they'll call the devil. But we know God is black. So the devil, who is called Lucifer, who is also called the the son of the light, or the morning star.
Yep.
Okay. And he's white. He is. I mean, he's white. And I'm gonna show you. They say commonly you hear now, as above, so below, right?
Right.
So up in heaven, the white devil wanted to overthrow the black God. He caused war, right? So on the earth, as below,
so it's below, above.
People like Dylan Roof and the young man that just killed these 13 people, they're continuing the fight that was in heaven. So yes, they want to go and kill everybody that look like God. They're trying to kill God. They're mad because they are the children of a lesser God. Let's think about this. Think about this. The children of a lesser God. Every race of people, except for the Jewish people, or we know as the Hebrews, every race of people that have been born into the earth, they have a God of their origin. They have a language of their origin. Their gods speak their language. And most importantly, that God gave them a geographical piece of land to occupy. Now, those are the children of God. The children of a lesser God, their God told them, oh, just go over into those people's land, kill them all up and possess the land. Because their God didn't have anything to give them. Okay? They didn't have anything to give them. So the children of a lesser God to promote themselves. They say, oh, we're the children of God and we're his favorite. So we get to kill you because your real God really gave you some land. And our God didn't have nothing to give us. So they told us to kill up everybody in the land and we can possess this land. Okay? Now, I always wondered why, if God made so many different people, why would he pick one to be his favorite? Wouldn't that cause problems? Of course.
Right.
Because the God that created us, he loved all of us. But he threw the father of the children of a lesser God out of heaven. And the Bible tells you what he did. When Satan was cast out of heaven, what happened?
Felt like
He was given dominion over the earth. So he reigns on earth as God, and his people, which are the children of the lesser God, they are reigning over this earth. And every time they have an opportunity to strike back and kick in the face of the real God, they will kill black people.
Wow.
Bill, see, I told you.
Wow. Dang. This is wild.
Told you.
Man.
Told you.
That's extreme right there, buddy. That's
Yeah,
why
I mean-
I'm telling you. I'm so glad I'm here today. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Billsley. It's I knew that you was gonna get a treat when Teach come on here. Like I said, I wasn't expecting Teach to come up on here. She popped on when I just started the show. But hear what Teach had to say. Listen what you had to say too, Billsley. I'm just at a point where I'm sick and tired of hearing people. I'm gonna keep bringing this point up that we're the human race, which we are, and that the government is trying to keep us apart. Because right now, one of the lawmakers in Arizona, I just seen this story, literally said that what had happened was that the person that did this was a federal agent. Now the conspiracy theories will start to come up now. You remember when they said about what Sandy Hook, people like the Alex Jones of the world sitting there saying that what happened up there was a hoax. Now they're starting to say this thing that it was a blood sacrifice and all that stuff. I'm so sick and tired of hearing conspiracy theories like that. It blows my freaking mind.
Oh, hold up. That blood sacrifice? Oh, that's real.
I don't believe that. That's one thing.
Whoa. Let her elaborate. Why is it
Yeah.
real? Yeah.
Okay. Reason why I say that. Look at the implications. Whenever, okay, let me say it like this. In Africa was shamed or promoted in the West that they participate in blood sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, what is Jesus but so-called a blood sacrifice?
Yeah, that's what the
But
crucifixion was. Yep.
remember, we're the original people. We hold the original power. And when you look at the cases of Zimmerman, I can't remember these people's names, but
The police
Trayvon
officer,
Martin,
yeah.
Mike Brown,
Mhm.
all these men and women, Sandra Bland,
Tamir
all
Rice.
these men and women that were slain, their perpetrators, one, received fame, 2, untold wealth, and 3, they become untouchable. That's what a ritual sacrifices do. Up until recently, these people are getting off scot-free.
Mhm.
That's what a ritual sacrifice is. And it may not seem like one, but it depends on the desire of the person making the sacrifice.
Well, I agree with you, Teach. I agree with you to an extent, but blood sacrifice, I think that's taken a bit too far for me. But I will say this: anytime, and it's been in history, you know, even during Reconstruction, well, I think it's either you can correct me if I was wrong, if I'm wrong. Either during Reconstruction or after Reconstruction, there were bounties to getting black people's heads. That if you kill a black man or a black woman or a black kid, which I believe the kids was worth even more money, if you can kill them, chop their heads off, you get a lot of money for that. They was doing that for the Indians when you scalp their heads to get their hair. So all through the years, and also even to come to the middle with you on the blood sacrifices, that I even had to look this history up and found this out too. That's going to blow everybody's mind. That they did back in the day had rituals where when they would kill black people and they would actually eat their body parts.
What makes you think that's still not happening? And the reason why I'm saying this, is because you got to think of what the laws are doing right now. The stem cell research, naturally they're trying to go ahead and disguise something with this abortion thing. I think you have people who disappear all the time. You can go to Walmart right now and see a wall full of people who are missing. And it's not like they've been missing for like a couple of days or a couple of months. Some of these people have been missing for a couple of years out of nowhere. Matter of fact, I had somebody I used to serve with, his 14-year-old kid is missing. And I'm like, this is so weird because you have these people who are getting organs and things out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, they have a miraculous recovery. So this is what I'm saying. It's like, I see what you mean, Donnell, when it comes to saying halfway, you're in the middle with trying to understand that. But I'm leaning with Teach with this because the reason why it's just too many things out there right now that's showing that I think some of this stuff is real, man. A good portion of it. Even when it comes to our politicians, the celebrities that are here, don't even start with the overseas stuff because that's a whole nother thing. Don't go to Dubai because we get a free trip to Dubai. Okay, yeah. There's something with that too. So I mean, I don't know, man. It's all crazy. And then who was that guy that ended up getting killed in jail? Found out that he was like sexually molesting like these teen girls and everything like that. And his girlfriend just got caught and charged with all kinds of stuff in the Brooklyn jail. Like how you end up in jail in Brooklyn and then supposedly hang yourself, and you look inside there and it is no way you can hang yourself from the height of it and you're taller than the bunk. Get out of here, man. Somebody beat you up, man.
Yeah.
But
yeah. But yeah, I'm still gonna you know what? Before I get my 2 cents, I'm gonna let Teach come on and back in and add on to that. Teach, you got anything to add?
Well, I'll just say that people are evil. You can't believe that everybody is good. Everybody is not good. And when they show themselves, you have to believe the evidence. When you look at all these cases, all these people got off. They all got off. They were all untouchable. What makes them untouchable?
Mm-hmm.
The forgiveness that their relatives give to that aggressor. That's a transferring of power. When you say, I forgive you for slaying my son, then that person walks and walks powerfully and strong. Zimmerman, he's so bold. He auctioned off the gun that he killed Trayvon Martin on eBay. That was a ritual sacrifice. And he became rich, he became famous, and he's untouchable. Those were his desires. So you have to go into the ego of these people and what they want out of the situation. He got his wish. That was his genie in the bottle. The blood of Trayvon Martin.
All right. So now I'm gonna give my piece on it. The reason why I am in the middle. Now I'm not saying going to what you were saying, Billsley. Yeah, that's going on. David, I actually, when I was on HBO Max, I actually saw a documentary that I believe I saved it on my favorites where it says Black and Missing. I know that all this is is happening, but the reason why I'm on the fence that I am in the middle is just when you say blood sacrifice or sacrifice in any type of way, people will just use it just like hearing Black people are racist. Like we actually had that conversation on the show here, Billsy, and Didn't Teach. We had a show like back when we was talking about Black people being called racist. That's the issue that I have, because this stuff is happening. And if you really want to get my whole entire take about all this, here you go. This is what it is. Black people have a whole lot of power. We are beings that we still don't know all the things that we possess. And Teach, it goes back to what you were saying earlier about, it started with the word, and the word was God. We don't understand that fact, because when you hear the word, the word was God, we thinking about another entity other than ourselves.
Right.
And you actually came up with the greatest example ever when you said, when the man speaks and he says, I'm going, was it hunting or fishing? But one of the two.
Yeah, hunting.
I'm going hunting. There's no lie in that. For any simpleton that's watching the show right now, or any simpleton that heard that comment, they would just think it as a regular sentence. Just as simple as, hey, Billsy, I'm about to go to McDonald's. You want anything? Right. And not understanding the power in what I just said.
Isn't that where the saying, the word is bond, come from?
Right.
Yep.
And go ahead, teacher.
I experienced that. See, we live in a society of liars. People just say anything. That's what we're used to. We're used to people lying.
Right.
My very first trip to Africa, I was engaging in conversation. I was there for a month, and we went to 5 different countries. And this man told me something when I was in his country. I left and I came back, and I totally did not consider what the man said. But he held to his word, and not once but twice. And I had to check myself. I'm like, ooh, this man told me X, Y, and Z. and I just blew him off. I just, you know, really didn't take it to heart that he was really meaning what he said. And I knew that that was a condition of living in a society that tell lies.
Wow.
And so when you go into a society where people speak truth, it's a mental adjustment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to realize that they're speaking truth. They're not just saying anything to spin you around or to blow you off. And so when God spoke, whatever he said came into existence. When a man spoke, whatever he said come into existence. That's how powerful we are. And when you know you have that power, you just don't speak any kind of way. You don't say anything.
Yeah. Because you got the 3 folds, 10 folds rule that, you know, wherever folds you want to talk about, because that can come back and bite you in the ass too. So, I mean, I think it's more than us. How could I put it? I think it's more of us knowing we got that power and then understanding that power. There's a few people that have that power. Teach, I'm gonna have to put you right there. You're one of them. You know the power that you possess. Teach, I know when you say things, it happens. I mean, you said that this year was gonna be your year. Hey, look what's happening. You're living your best life. I just think people just like for me for a long time. I'm not that religious, but I always just kept blaming myself. But then I realized the one person that's gonna make anything happen for me was me. The person
Exactly.
that I look in the mirror every day. You know, and my life is going to be, if I believe that my life is going to be crap, guess what? My life's going to be crap, knock on wood. If I
That's
said
right.
that if today's going to be a great day, guess what? Today's going to be a great day. But then also, we also have an issue, and I'm at fault of it too, where we want that validation, which is it goes deeper even than that. Like black celebrities. And I know Billsley, you lick your chops every time talking about celebrities, definitely black celebrities, because we want that validation. Because if we going up in there in a nice suit, a suit we've been saving our money, I've been saving my money for. I finally put that sucker on. Meet my crew at the club. It is not me. It's not even the joy of me finally affording the suit that I always wanted and just already being happy, be like, yeah, I'm gonna kill it. But I'm just want that validation so it can just reaffirms that feeling. And I think that's the biggest issue that our people also have too, as well, that we are model citizen. And then you already see, even if when we are a model citizen, because if you look at history, who is the most violent group of people when it comes to, no, not even that. Who is the most law abiding citizens in this country? Think about that. Who committed the most crime historically? Who have broken the law on a historical level? Just think about that. Literally. When you get pulled over by the police, who actually do comply? Who actually listens to the police? License, registration, please. Don't even ask them a question of like why I got pulled over. Mm-hmm. We just either want to get the ticket or get a warning and we off. That outside validation, as you can see, sometimes get us killed. Because we would do anything for it. And this is beyond fame. And, you know, when you think about legacy, you know, when you have your loved ones, you know, you have your little ones running around and all that stuff. See, I can't speak on that because I don't got kids. Both of y'all have kids. So y'all know what I'm talking about. You want to be the light in their eyes. You want them to look up to you before a Beyonce or before a Michael Jordan. I did that one for you, Besley. You know, you want them to look up to you first. Like, Dad, I want to be like you. Mom, I want to have the knowledge like you do. And you will go out your way that you give them that knowledge or have them, you know, practice on basketball. Like, son, this is how I used to do it, or dog, that's how I used to do it. Or have them read the books. You should be reading this right here, this book right here. Read this book. And I want you to give me a summary of what you read. That's a valid validation that we all should have, which goes back to what Tish was saying, talking about it all comes back to that dinner table where you sit down with your family and you eat and you have those conversations. But our people is just so starstruck on outside validation that you forget who you are. You forget who you are. I teach you about to say something. Go ahead.
Yes, this is a symptom of our oppression. You know, to be a slave, psychologically, that's damaging. Because you're not your own person. You are a slave master's property.
Mm-hmm.
And so that self-identification, self-love, self-determination, self-belief. We don't believe one another. We don't believe in one another.
Yeah.
And we don't believe in ourselves. So I'll give you case in point. You all think I'm awesome. You speak positive. You speak positive of me.
Only speak the truth.
But if you ask someone in my household,
oh no.
If you ask someone in my household, one, they could not even tell you what I do.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is not important. It's insignificant. It's a waste of time. Why don't I go get a real job? It was even suggested to me that why don't I apply for a job as a forest ranger?
What? Wow.
So,
wow, man.
When I speak to you about self-love, this is the manifestation of it. When I speak to you about self-determination, this is the manifestation of it. I know the value of the word that's put in me. I know the value of what I bring to the masses of people. But my immediate family, they can't celebrate with me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
They don't celebrate. So I have it right in my own home. I have to for like Billsley came on and gave me a few words of encouragement. That's where my encouragement comes from and reaffirms who I am and the path that I'm on. But if I listen to the people here, I would not master myself. But I recognize that their role in being negative is to constantly push me in the direction that I'm going. And it took me a long time to realize that. It took me, I used to say, nobody's in my corner. I'm in my own corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I can fill up the four corners of the earth with me. Okay. And so I learned everybody has a role in your life. And though it did not seem a positive role, but I began when wisdom came, I understood they were the negative forces to keep me positively reinforced.
Mm.
And so now I take it with a grain of salt. Oh, you don't understand? That's okay.
Mm.
Oh, you really don't know who I am? And I'll just tell you, I was supposed to go to Kenya on Saturday. The conference actually begins tomorrow. Well, actually, it's beginning in probably a couple of hours because they're 8 hours ahead of us. And this conference is the Afro City Summit, and you can look it up. It's going to be between 8,000 and 10,000 people there.
Oh, wow.
5 presidents, countless numbers of mayors of the African cities, countless number of chiefs, kings, sultans, fawns, abiyasis, asante hennes, oya hennes, and on and on. I actually was blessed in an animal setting as a queen. And when I am there, I am lined up with all of the kings. I am the only queen. And this is an honor, a high honor to be with these people, the ranking people of Africa. And so they didn't get my ticket, so I didn't leave on Saturday. And it was some other things that went on that was kind of aggravating. And I said, forget these people. I'm not going there. I'm not going to go through the stress that they're giving me. And then today they called, you must be here.
Wow.
They got everything arranged, and I'm getting on the flight. And then a second person called me and said, we have to have you here. They demand for my presence.
Dude.
So,
Yo.
so God gives me these gems. What I don't get at home, God gives me elsewhere. Even when I went to Cameroon last month, and I don't think I came back on the show. I don't know. I can't remember. But there were several groups of people that went to the airport waiting for my arrival.
Oh my gosh.
The people were fighting over me staying with them. And I'm like, ooh, okay. Y'all want to fight over me? You know, so what my immediate family don't know or can't appreciate, God allowed me to witness it. I had only wanted at least one of my family members to accompany me to see the level of energy that these people positively give me when I'm in their country. I just want my family to witness it because here I'm nobody. In the words of some people, I'm just the maid. I'm just the one that cook and clean and drive Miss Daisy here and there because she's at an age where she's not comfortable driving anymore. I'm her personal maid and servant. So it comes down to believing in yourself as an individual. And as you believe in yourself, as you express yourself, people will begin to believe in you.
Yes, that is correctimundo, Cheech.
Dude, you have no idea that I needed that. That
Wow.
very thing that you just said.
Hmm.
And I know Darnell don't even know at this point in time, but I'm going through a little bit of a rough patch, but that was super needed. And another thing that I will say is that I naturally cannot tell you what to do. But the thing is, please don't say you have nobody here, because you got two people right now knowing all this stuff. Even without even knowing that, how much of a jewel you are. And
Thank you.
I feel, I don't even know. I don't know why I'm getting choked up. So I'm gonna leave it alone, man. But
I feel it too, Billsley. Don't worry.
that's
She
yeah.
hit my soul too.
Yo, that's extreme. That's wild. That is wild, man.
Yeah,
Man.
Go ahead, teach.
I want to just say one other thing, and I just feel good in my heart, mind, body, and soul, because I'm 59, 50, 53 years ago, I saw this day.
What?
And this is what drives me. I think I expressed it to you, Darnell,
Mm-hmm.
and we're finally here. I was 6 years old and I had a vision. I was just running up and down the driveway, and um, I don't know, it just got fuzzy, and then it got clear. And when it got clear, I was in Africa, and I was in this stadium that was filled with thousands and thousands of people, and they were all kind of chiefs. They all had different attire, and I remember the biggest chief. He came to me and he said, "What is your name?" And I said with total confidence, "My name is Anita Marie." And he said, "No, that's the name that your mother have given you." He said, "You don't know who you are."
Wow.
He said, "Your name is the spirit of Africa." And the all the people began to give an applause, and they were all speaking their own language, and it was just such high energy and the clamoring, and it's like the clapping and the words they were speaking, it was like thunder just roaring throughout that stadium. And so it was last month when I was in Cameroon, and I was speaking before the students at the university, and I had a deja vu moment. Oh my God, this trip to Kenya is the fulfillment of that dream, because I'm going to be addressing all of these different kings from all these different kingdoms. And as far as I understand, this is a brand new stadium. I think they finished it in February, and they're expecting a crowd of 10,000 people. So this is the fulfillment. This is what my God have prepared me for this particular day.
Wow.
Teach. I just hearing that, I was just getting visions of you as a little girl with that chief, with that robe, telling you that, and just hearing just the claps, like I just literally had the vision, like you going down that driveway, and that driveway just turning into all those people just clapping and just hearing the applause. Man, I'm getting freaking goosebumps, Chiefs. I really am.
Dude.
And it goes back to, I've been doing mirror work. Mirror work is basically me looking myself in the mirror and saying that I love you, we're gonna kick ass today and all that stuff. But yeah, Teach, that's my goodness, that's freaking deep. I'm just getting like feelings on my freaking hands and my arms right now. I mean,
I feel like I need to go back to the gym because this is crazy.
yeah, yeah.
That's how electrifying that is, man.
Yeah,
Like, wow.
and here's a crazy day too. So today I'm off. You know, me being the National Guard. You know, we don't work on Mondays. And I told myself today I'm just gonna relax, but also I want to work on myself, on my spiritual side, and all that stuff. And look who comes in, Teach. So,
Well,
but
they say when the student is ready, the teacher will come.
that is true. You always said that,
Yeah.
Teach. You always said that to me, but that is true. But we have hit the final point of the show. And Teach, you stayed on as long. I thought you was I was like, man, wow, she's gonna get good. She could be like, I gotta go. And she stayed on the show for a majority of the time.
I'm
So
so
let's
happy.
yeah, I
was there
know.
to see the whole thing.
Yeah, you didn't see it. You was a part of it, Bills. You was a part of it. So let's go into our final points. And I'm just gonna since you graced us with your presence, we're gonna let you have the final point. So I'm gonna start off with Billingsley.
Um, I'm really at a loss for words to an extent, but I'm gonna try this out. We as people really need to have this understanding of what self-love is, how to stop being tricked by the system that tells you that you're less than. I'm sick of stories like this when the stuff happened in Buffalo and everything, but what I'm so grateful for is that I came on today and one of the coolest people that I've never met or I know, whatever, is throughout Jules, straight up treasure to me and Donnell today, and to you that's watching. We have to learn to really understand what this life is. I even consider our lives kind of like almost like a bunch of Jedis or whatever else. You have, some working for the Sith. You have some that is working for the good side, and some that are in the middle. But then you have those really wise ones that really know the depths of what life really is. And I don't know. I'm just really thankful that I was here today, that I had the opportunity to even just sit and see this. And I'm going to admit something today. I told Donnell, I was like, dude, if Teach ever comes on the panel and I'm supposed to be on the panel, I don't want to be on the panel because she probably going to totally wash me out or, wipe me out in this whole thing. But the thing is, I'm glad that I was able to contribute something without sounding like a complete idiot in front of her. So that's all I had to say. I'm done. Have a good one.
I got you, Billingsley. I got you. So with this being a very serious show, I think it's been a while since I ended on a very comedic note, and I just want to show y'all the new love of my life, Lisa. I love you. You still number one, but there's a close number two, and that is this right here. One of the things I want to tell myself is that I love money. I love seeing these unhappy presidents. You see George Washington. So my thing is this. A lot of y'all like to listen to OJ song, for the love of money. Y'all like to hear the thing of, money is the root to all evil. But let me hit you with the little reality. If you late on your bills, or I'll put you like this, how do you pay your bills? How do you pay for these high gas that continues to go up? I know you want your paycheck at the end of the week, do you? You want to go out to the clubs, right? What do you need? You need this. And their cousins. And their friends and their friends' friends. Oh, and also speaking of the OJs, you think they did that song for free? You see, even something like this, yes, it make the world go round. Yes, it changes people's circumstances and issues. And yes, when they say that money can't buy you happiness, when you get that brand new car, does it make you feel good? When you go to McDonald's and you get that McDouble, does it make you feel good? I think that's a bit of happiness. But also, don't let this convince you of doing wrong things neither. They said money is a energy, is a power. To me, this money right here is a tool. But it's also beyond the tool too. This is like family. Because for me to get the things to do the things that I want and to help out my community, I need to start bringing them more into the family. Bring their cousins and invite them to the cookout. Because this done right, who knows? Future and soon to be multimillionaires and billionaires would just be like, we don't need the government to pay for reparations. We do it ourselves. Like James Brown said, I don't want nobody to get me nothing. Just open up the door. I get it myself. And with this done the right way and treated the right way, amazing things happen. And with that, I yield the floor.
Well, I want to say, Mr. Billingsley, you do not have to be afraid of me. Mr. Billingsley, you do not have to be afraid of me. And uh, thank you for coming onto the show and helping Darnell out. And Darnell, I want you to stay encouraged and keep pushing the show and keep pushing and just don't give up because it is your dream and only you can make it come to pass. You make it be what it is. And to the listeners, I encourage each and every one of you to do self actualization. Look at your weaknesses and look at your strong points and look at how you can improve yourself each and every day. We talked about forgiveness earlier. The only thing that I forgive, and I ask you to think about, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not being the best person that you can be. Forgive yourself for holding on to things or people past their expiration date because there was a weakness in you that was afraid to let them go. Forgive yourself and strengthen yourself, releasing that negative energy and bringing yourself into balance. Balance out your spirit, balance out your mind, balance out your soul, balance out how you interact with your family members, balance out how you interact with the people at work. So, what I'm talking about is energy, how you share and conserve energy in terms of balancing. And when you realize in forgiving yourself, you're balancing out your own energy. You're giving yourself what you need to release yourself to go to the next step. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time since I've been able to check in on you, but I want you to remember simply be your best person. Each morning when the sun rises, it brings gifts. Use those gifts as a tool to navigate your day. That when the sun sets and the moon comes out, you can tell the moon how successful you are, and the moon can reveal the secrets and prepare you for the next sunrise. Ladies and gentlemen, good night.
Thank you so much for that, Teach. I'm trying to get everybody back on up on here. I don't know what's going on. Here we go. Got it. But other than that, Teach, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Cannot wait for you to start to be a fixture on the show. Um, but yeah, I think this is one of the most deepest shows that I have done and been a part of in a long time. And so once again, Teach, it's always a great pleasure. Cannot wait till you become a fixture on this show. And at that time that this show have reached to greater and higher of heights. Once again, Billingsley, thank you for being a new panel member on this show. I mean, knocking it out the park, dog. And then for myself, I learn something new every day on this show. This show is a very important show, ladies and gentlemen. I know that maybe I'm not even gonna say years down the road. I'm gonna say in the distant future, people who haven't watched this show or they get told about this show and start being, permanent viewers of the show is going to look back at shows like these and like, dang, why the hell did I even watch that episode? Or they get something from it. And that's the point of controlling the narrative.
But I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something to you, though. Thank you is just a thing that Teach had touched on. Thank you for not giving up. Because if you had given up, this day would have never happened.
You sure is right, Billsley. I mean, yeah. I'm just happy that I created a show like this and have the people on this panel. Even if we do disagree, I'm still blessed to have them on this show, and they forever will be a part of the show. And I'm happy that, once again, I'm gonna say this again: the inspiration to have this show was thanks to Teach. I said, Teach, I want to produce a show for you, and that's where the show came about. And after that, success started to come on Teach like crazy. And not only just that, Mayo, he's running for the House Representative for his state. Our boy Seepaway, he was trying out for the Olympics, but now he's like the freaking main man out there in I forgot what that place called.
Guinea-Bissau.
Guinea-Bissau. He's a freaking icon out there. We even had Professor O on the show, and he's doing big projects down there in South America right now. Beast, unfortunately, he couldn't make it into the show, but he's doing big things out in the underground with the music for the independent artists and stars. So people who came, and then also our boy, you probably remember him, Mr. Bragg, Alan Bragg, Sergeant Bragg.
Oh,
He-
wow.
Yeah, he was the first originals on the show too as well, and he just not just, but he opened up his own weapons association, his guns association, where he
Wow.
teaches people how to properly use the weapons, and it's successful. And so, for anybody that have been a fixture that came on this show, have gotten into outside success, and so I'm blessed at that, and that this is what I mean when you control the narrative, not only just the show, but also for you personally as well as our sponsor, Cheddar Boy Popcorn. I need to get some more of their popcorn anyways. The website's down at the bottom, 15 different flavors. And speaking of success, they recently partnered up with Lumen Fields that used to be CenturyLink Field for the Seattle Seahawks. Got into a partnership with them, so now they are selling they got an official stand out on the field at Lumen Fields right now. They changed
Wow,
That's
that's
what's up.
awesome. That's awesome.
They got slammed the deal, slam dunked it. And here's the crazy thing. They didn't put out a resume. They called them. They
That's
had
Even better.
they had somebody
Okay.
that worked at Lumen Fields that tried their popcorn and said, we're gonna put the word out for you. Had the interview,
Okay.
and now they're gonna have a popcorn stand right there. And I think I visited them like a couple weeks ago. I can see the stress on their eyes and all that stuff, all the work that they're doing. And I was like, this is what happens when you pay the cost to be a boss, when you got great success and all that stuff. He said, yeah, I know. But I'm gonna try to get Mr. Jones and his wife on the show too as well. But yeah, they're doing great. I need to go see how they're doing. But other than that, right there with our sponsor, got great things going on. But other than that,
That's really awesome.
yeah, and I can't wait to have them on the show. But once again, thank y'all for tuning into this edition of Hashtag Fade to Black on this Monday. Teach, thank you for popping in. It was well needed. I applaud you too, Teach. Hopefully,
Thank you.
hopefully we get more of these. Definitely on very hot topics like this one right here. Because yeah, it was needed. As well as my bro, Billingsley. Isaac Billingsley, and me as your gracious host, Donna Alamonte Morris. Thank y'all for tuning into another edition of Hashtag Fade to Black. And this show will also exclusively be on the Wet Network. So catch y'all later. Bye, y'all. Take it easy now. Take care.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm pippin', flippin', spittin' these lyrics. Got you feeling what I be saying like you caught the Holy Spirit now. I done went through some shit up in my past, but it fertilized my future. Now I'm harvesting my cash. I like 'em pretty, but they can't be hot, so did it. Talking like I'm gon' buy what you want, you think it's silly, girl.